And the Borg is sort of out in force here, so there's been a few videos, all kind of just slop. So we got Gray Text talking about, the fact that he lets flies out of his house, and therefore he's not an evil person. And it's just so funny, because it just so illustrates the problem here. Yeah, we can all get emotional about little emotional things in our little emotional life, but the subject is about the real game and the real picture. And so all your talk about how thoughtful you are, that you open windows for a fly to get out of your house, and yet you endorse a system that enforces servitude by billions of creatures every day are on a forced march to serve you and your ambition to let flies out of your window. Do you see the insidious irony of this? That the act of letting that fly out of your house consumed in, magnitudes of suffering endured, preposterous amount of energy. So it's like you produced because you love crude oil, or you think crude oil is, it's got full of energy, and it's like you made a cup of crude oil, by burning, 4 million tons of coal, some kind of idiotic scenario. I mean, just totally cost effective, illogical. I mean, Mr. Spock would just go insane. It's so stupidly illogical. And you're just proving my point, that you people are all about your silly psychology, and you really don't want to have a serious philosophical conversation. So the second Gray Text video is, look, acquiesce. Learn how to lower your standards until you don't have any standards. And Anticonavod saying a lot of the same thing. I jump out of bed every day because I'm all excited to go be a servant of the capitalist empire, and if I can do it, you can do it, kind of crap. But yeah, we know that you get energized to do all this crap because you have decided that you can discount the price, that you don't see. You drive by the slums and all you're doing is saying, well, it's sort of pretty, the colors are interesting. I mean, you're just not seeing the real architecture, right? You're just viewing it as based on, well, it's nice contrast. I like the shadow that's being cast on that little baby sitting by the turd ditch. And yeah, that's an interesting contrast. Yeah, I mean, you're looking at it without seeing anything. So yes, but you're just just buck up, everybody. Play the game, because the game is more important than we are. That's all he's saying, really. The game is somehow just too important. Don't anybody diss the game, because yeah, he's a product of the game, and therefore he just thinks the game's got to be super cool because it made him, or some kind of bullshit like that. Then we get to Anticonavod, bringing up the old Buddhist crap, the old, oh yeah, we can all just turn it off, we can all just turn it off, we can all just turn off the pain, we don't have to feel any pain, we're all, yeah, I've done it, I have pain tolerance, I'm just all be mega men, yeah, do the Nietzschean thing, it doesn't kill you, blah blah blah. And yet this is a guy who's afraid of a little bit of guilt, right? He's made video after video after video whining like a little tiniest of girls about the fact that somebody made him feel guilty about something, right? A process of guilt which can only happen if there's some validity to what somebody's saying, right? I mean, somebody telling you you're ugly when you're not ugly isn't going to work, right? I mean, somebody telling you you're short when you're 6'5", it just isn't going to work. The only way somebody can hurt you with guilt is if they're basically informing you that, yes, you are full of shit, and you do suck, and you have failed, and you have to recognize that in spite of the fact that your mommy told you you're a great artist, or some kind of shit like that. So guilt only works when you have some kind of delusion that's going to be eradicated by it. It's only a threat to destroy your delusions, and he's afraid of that. Scared to fucking goddamn death. The most horrid, awful, scariest thing in the universe is, recognizing that you suck. Oh, but he's such a superhero. He's mega Superman. I can take it all. Go ahead, bring it on. Well, I hope you get what you deserve, buddy. I mean, I don't know what else to say to all you arrogant assholes talking about how you're painless or you're pain-free. You're all, oh yeah, it's okay. Oh yeah, just play a little head game. It's all okay. I just hope you get what you fucking deserve. That arrogance in the face of the real terror, baby. All right. So you want to talk about how people are all just fine with being paralyzed 6 months later or some other kind of crap? Well, I just hope you get what you deserve. I mean, that kind of arrogance deserves a good hard kick in the ass. Speaking of asses, it wasn't my fault. I didn't bring up asses. Oh, yeah, I did. Alright, well, now we have to do the To Be Serious video. It's not my fault. That was totally coincidental. I didn't have anything. I didn't fucking plan it. I didn't do anything, okay? The fact that there's a clear association isn't my fault. Alright, anyway, so we'll play her video. It's just so discouraging. Humans are just so full of fucking shit.
Hi, I'm making a fast response to Forever Wolf Films. She posted a
excellent
video response to me, so I'm going to respond to.
Alright, so she has to put this stupid banner up. I've invited the F-list to thumb down this video. Oh, so you're going to play that game like you get it harder than somebody else, right? I had a video that had, it's got 35 thumb downs, and it's about a friggin' internet tool. So don't be bitching at me about your thumb downies. You think Trick did it? Who are you blaming? Do you think I waste my time hitting a dislike button? Do you really think so? Is that your accusation? So what good is this crap? I just hope they'll listen as they vote it down and will stick through to the end, in spite of the fact that I'd probably be crying, in spite of the fact that the way I look could frighten small children. Thanks. Well, look, you're going to have to get over this constantly bringing shit up and then blaming other people for bringing shit up, okay? I mean, you're the one with your problem about yourself, okay? So if you're going to do this thing, you're going to have to gain a little bit of confidence, and you're going to have to let go of sitting there saying, go ahead, throw the tomatoes right here. I mean, if you're going to ask people to throw tomatoes, you know, that's just really stupid. So I just don't see any point in saying, look, throw it right here. No point in doing that. This device, I mean, you take it or leave it, but I mean, damn, there's just really no point in saying, well, this is my weakness, go ahead, stick a sword in it. I mean, it's just no point in doing that. Or whatever.
Her video. I was posting too many comments. I don't really have time to do the video, but I decided I would just do this anyway, because, you know, so I haven't combed my hair, and
yeah,
so
well, whatever.
Feel free to post nasty comments in the low bar. You know, who cares?
Well, apparently you do. You should keep bringing this shit up every fucking video.
I pointed out, first of all, that I am not a pronatalist, and a lot of ethicists.
Well, I mean, there's really no point, okay? You either are anti or you're pro. I mean, there just really isn't an option. Okay, I mean, playing this game that I'm not for it, but I'll let it happen, it's the same thing. I mean, you either stop rapes or you're for rape. I mean, you know, I mean, there's just no point in saying I'm not pro-natalist, but I'm for allowing the system that obviously is creating a huge amount of nataling to continue. I mean, that just doesn't make any sense. You're for it if you're not against it.
Want everybody either to be pro-natalist or to be with them. I'm in neither camp.
Right, which is just totally useless. There really isn't any point in saying you either want clean drinking water or you don't want clean drinking water. You're either going to make it happen or you're not going to make it happen. But there's just none of this, I just sit back and wait and see what happens shit.
I'm not even sure there is a pronatalist. I guess they're Catholics or pronatalist, and, you know, a lot.
No, I mean, anybody who has kids and thinks they have a right to do it is a pronatalist, I think, pretty obviously. Or anyone who thinks somebody has a right to just fart out kids because they have a uterus.
A lot of very religious groups are pronatalist, but I am not pronatalist at all. But I think there are better ways to get around our dilemma.
I mean, the subject isn't population control, it's natalism. You're either for people having kids or you're not. Damn.
And we have some really bad dilemmas. Rather than just, as Amanda phrased it, like getting rid of all life. Just getting people not to ever procreate ever. And eventually...
Yes, that's right. That would be the anti-nataling. That's correct.
Actually die out as a species.
Yes.
Render all the animals sterile, and then blow up the rock, the earth itself, which she says is the only solution. That, I think,
Well, why she's hemming and hawing, I'll just point out that later in the video she says, I don't care even if you can do it. So here she's going to argue a point that even if you counter-argue her and explain to her the facts and blah 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 and go through all this logistics, she's still going to say, well, that's not the subject anyway. I don't care whether you can blow the world up. I don't care if you can actually accomplish it. My agenda's over here. So it's just this crap where, yeah, I'll just go down the 4 million things on the list and I won't, I'll oblige you to argue points that don't matter. Why? Because it's convenient to her to play the game that way. That's right. Yeah, to waste my time arguing points that aren't going to make a difference in her perspective. So why don't we argue the ones that do matter first, instead of the ones that don't matter? Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Problems with it. For example, inevitably, blowing up the rock is going to leave organic and proto-organic compounds on the rocks.
Right. So the planet Earth has been covered with organic and pro-organic compounds for 4 billion years now. And not just a few of them, but a ton of them. Everywhere. They're on everything. They're in the air. They're on everything. They're all over the fucking place. And strangely, in all kinds of environments, bottom of the ocean, high pressure, high temperature, no temperature, high oxygen, low oxygen, atmosphere, non-atmosphere, they're in all kinds of different environments within all the different strata of the Earth, and yet not a single bit of any of that crap has ever replicated on its own. The only thing replicating on planet Earth right now, and I think for its whole history, are the descendants of a single cellular compound. One time it happened. That's all you have evidence of. And so this argument that, oh, if you leave any of the pieces of paper behind, it's going to reform into Shakespeare's play. No, if you shred it, it is never going to be rewritten. Okay, it's over. Once it's shredded, the papers aren't going to reconnect, and it's not going to be Romeo and Juliet again.
And one of the primary scientific theories that...
Primary says you, because it was in Scientific Fun, right? Is that the magazine or the website, Scientific Fun? And so it's a primary scientific advance because they had an article in the Ice Cream Journal. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sarcastic, aren't I?
Is being investigated right now is the idea that organic life forms hitch rides on these rocks. So
yeah, right, to nowhere. So yeah, organic molecules, right, amino acids. Yeah, pieces of chemistry. There's chemistry in the universe. Guess what? It's not replicating. Replication requires, especially the kind that can evolve. It is not just, you just don't throw the stuff next to each other and poof, you got a replicator. It is as the mind would figure, you can't build one. It's really hard to make one even out of like plastics, and I could take my computer and I could take a whole bunch of parts, and I'm still not going to make a device that replicates itself with any kind of reliability, am I? Or durability. No, because it's really complicated. And you're just sitting there pretending that, yeah, it's automatically going to happen. All you need is the parts, you throw them on the ground, and all of a sudden it'll assemble. if I knock this thing into all its little parts, this computer, put all the little parts on the ground, they'll just pop right back into a computer again. No, don't work that way.
Blowing them up the Earth, even if that were our goal, to basically eradicate all life from the universe, this won't accomplish it.
Says you. By no authority except whatever. The comic strip you read.
So that is going to be a problem.
Says you.
And saying that if you eradicate life on Earth, then you're getting a head start. A lot of the data seems to show that.
A lot of the data. So again, what's the data sources again? What are your sources for this? A lot of the data. Who besides you says so? And what is their authority? Oh, never mind.
Life is not a closed system. It's open to the environment around it, and it incorporates organic and proto-organic compounds in its evolutionary process. So it's very iffy that you would be able to do very much by. Have you looked at the?
Have you looked at the eukaryotes and prokaryotes, and have you looked at abiogenesis and studied the complexity of what replication really involves? Have you? I have my doubts.
Size of the universe, it is just amazing, and we can't.
Yeah, it's just amazing. But isn't amazing kind of one of those relative words? Like you're only amazed because of the depths of your ignorance. Like a caveman would be amazed by a 6-inch black and white TV, and we're not going to be amazed, right? So yeah, universe is a big, 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 big place. But yeah, as we have observed when we go looking at it, okay, it's full of just kind of mixy chemistry, not fancy chemistry.
Fit how big it is into our tiny brains. We really can't. There are some analogies you can use, but it's gigantic.
Yeah, whatever. And again, there's no evidence, none, that there's anything more gigantic, like the improbabilities of replicating chemistry aren't just as gigantic. That the number of that improbability of it just poofing and the universe size, that these numbers are not somehow commensurate in terms of their giganticness.
So I don't think that is going to do it, and I think it...
Yeah, well, that's just very nice that you don't think so, but you're not thinking so with an argument. Like I have said, why aren't there multi-forms of life on Earth? If life is just something, replication is just something that just happens all over the place all the time, why hasn't it happened in some other form on Earth or on some other planet? Why isn't there silicone-based life? Why isn't there some other kind of basis for life? If replication is a common function, because it's not a common function. It's a bizarrely bizarre function.
It's also worth considering that species don't necessarily go extinct. I know we're in the 6th great extinction, but they also evolve into other forms, and I'm sure
this evolve into other forms. No, they stay in the same form. They don't evolve into anything. Dragonflies haven't evolved into anything. Crocodiles didn't evolve into anything. They just stayed crocodiles. That's right, because it works. It's a durable, functional, efficient design, like snakes. There's a ton of snakes on Earth still because snake is one hell of a kick-ass design. And that's where the evolution stops. It says, hey, you got it. We've got you as efficient as possible. You barely have to eat. Okay, we get every bit of food that you put in your mouth, you absorb. You're a highly efficient monster. And so, yeah, it's done its job. It's made the perfect feeding machine. It feeds and reproduces, and it does it for hundreds of millions of years through all kinds of environments. And that's what evolution's going to create. and the fact that we're just an aberrant off of that mission statement. We're not the mission statement. We're not highly efficient, highly functional. We're one of the error. We're the error codes that hang off the fibers that go off the side of the real killer machine, the monster machine, the perfect machine.
You notice this? I'm not telling you anything you don't know. When you were in, 12-year-old, when you were taking science, I'm sure you learned that lemurs were our ancient ancestors. Lemurs are still around, and so are we. So extinction is not necessarily the outcome of every species.
Well, I think it's just silly to say that it won't be the outcome of every species. Yes, there's more durable species. That's right. They're not dependent on they can adapt to the fact that the Earth changes over time and environments change, and organisms have to adapt to that change, and the organisms that can't adapt are the ones that will die. But they'll also die just by bad luck alone, right? So, I mean, it's not even that you have to be endurable. It's you have to be lucky. You have to be lucky that the asteroid doesn't hit Earth where you live, or doesn't degrade your environment as much as the other guys.
But the real problem, I think,
Blah, blah, blah.
and I agree with Amanda here, is that there is suffering, and there is suffering in the world.
Yeah, well, I would say the real problem is that there's nothing accomplished besides delusions, satisfied ambitions. Nothing real that can be shown. You can't show the real accomplishment of the thing, the real value of it, like a diamond. It only has purpose because humans make it purposeful, but it doesn't have a purpose in its own creation and its existence outside of humans playing with it. And this is the same truth for life. It doesn't have any purpose besides entertaining your psychology. There's no explanation you can give of what it accomplishes, because it's circular. It's eating its own delusions. It's feeding on its own delusions and your delusions. And if it's looked at as just a mechanical system, then it's really understood that it can't possibly run efficiently, because it's consuming its own kind to further its own kind, and we can see the huge inefficiencies in that. The preposterous birth numbers versus maturation numbers. The small percentage, the average living thing. 1 in 1,000 is probably the number for the average living thing of the prodigy that reach maturity. And those attrition numbers, you'd say, that's just fine. Yeah, we destroy 1,000 to have 1 to restart the whole process of make 1,000 so you can have 1 again. And you would say this is an ethical experiment. And I would say it's obviously nonsense. It's and for the humans, recognize that we can understand things that are totally necessary. So you say the word suffering, but that has to do with fairness, right? Deserve, right? And consent, especially for the more intelligent organisms. So none of those things exist in this natural system, and yet that's acceptable to you. You'll play a game where there's no fairness. You'll publicly subsidize, essentially, some sporting event where fairness has nothing to do with it. Deserve has nothing to do with it. Yeah. I don't think that's very intelligent. I don't think Ice Cream Daily would even think that's intelligent.
But I'm asking, is it necessarily the case that life itself is always bound with brutality and suffering?
Yes. I mean, what, you want a straight answer? That's the straight answer, isn't it? Where exactly is this utopian example of the perfect living organism? It's certainly not in the avian kind. It's certainly not going to find it in the ocean. Where do you find this oasis of Edenist You know, the garden, where is it in nature? It doesn't exist. It's brutal, it's slavery, it's, you know, huge attrition numbers, it's eking out an existence. You know, watching your friends die. That's how nature works. If you actually do get to care about something, you're going to have to watch it get fucked hard. Yeah, that's the game we're playing, and you're saying it's an okay game intrinsically, and the argument being made to you is no, intrinsically it's a failed game. It just creates need machines, and the needs can't be efficiently met. They just can't be. As a practical matter, you just can't. There's going to be waste, and for no reason. And you're just saying, I accept the waste. I will impose on those who will become the waste. I will stamp you. I will, you know, do everything to put my little signature, and then I'll put my initials on it, and I'll okay the whole thing. Because I have a delusion in my head that says that's okay. It's okay to waste.
Is that always necessary? And future, I'm not going to say that the past, it hasn't been true.
Well, why don't you just point me to some perfect life somewhere? Show me the perfect human life. We got 6-7 billion people. Why don't you give me a short list of the people living perfect lives that you'd want to be? I don't want to be any of you people. I don't want to do this again. I've gotten the full impression that it's just a game of deception and foolery, make you hungry so you'll chase the silly shit. I mean, yeah, it's a cheese doodle, okay. Yeah, well, you know, some people say it's immature if you recognize that it's plastic and nonsense. And you say, I'm not going to chase it anymore. Then somehow you're being childish because you're not playing the game properly. No, I think you're being reasonable and rising above, you know, lollipops daily.
But in the future, if our goal is to eradicate suffering, and I think it's a good goal, as much as we can, I don't think we can eliminate it completely.
Yeah, so great. And so you'll just keep imposing that unfairly, without deserve and without consent, and think yourself an ethical person. I will torture a few people for my delusion and tough crap on them. Because I think replicating is just so fucking cool. For the sake of replicating. It just makes so much sense to me to replicate need that doesn't need to exist. Yeah, it just makes infinite amount of sense to me to keep creating need that doesn't need to exist. That only the needers need the need to exist. And so that's just so cool because it's so circular. Fuck.
I don't think it makes sense to think we can just eradicate the problem or erase the problem, because as we've established, it would be like
as we've established. Listen, I just love that. Who? You and the president of the we just make shit up society? Ah, yeah.
The spinning wheel in Sleeping Beauty, thinking that you can take every needle and hide it so that it can't be found, that there won't be a needle somewhere in a haystack that will regenerate life and it will all come back again.
Okay, so that's your theory. Every bit of it will come back again. Every single, even the great white shark named George will come back again. Where's your evidence? Where's your evidence that you can get past the first hurdle, let alone all the other hurdles to creating sentient life? We're talking about sentient life, right? I mean, who cares if the Earth is covered in microbes for 1 trillion years? I don't care, personally. Alright, so the idea of creating sentient life. You have huge hurdles to even get to the micro, let alone the multicellular organism. And then the multicellular organism capable of chemoelectrical neural consciousness. I mean, you really think that's exactly where it goes, that you make a replicating cell and it automatically evolves into that. Automatically. You really think that's the way it works.
That's if we think life and suffering.
I mean, what would you say is the probability? If I gave you green algae and we had the experiment to run as many times as we wanted to for its full duration. So I give you green algae, I give you 4 billion years of evolution, and then we just roll those dice a zillion times. How many times do you think sentient life will be the byproduct? I'm just curious what you think the odds are of achieving a sentient organism. How many failures for your success? How many times will green algae just sit in the pond being green algae, and how many times will it evolve into sentient life forms?
And brutality are necessarily bound together. And the past...
It's consumption, reproduction, cannibalism through addiction. That's what it is. Now, you want to pretend that nature's doing something else, go ahead and pretend. But it is the selfish gene. It is the survival of a code. And that code has no ethics. It will whack, it will steal, rape, pillage. It'll do whatever it takes, whatever works. And you're just deluding yourself if you think something else is happening in the real world.
That's often been true, but it may not, and looks like it could not be true in a lot of cases in the future.
Yeah, well, you've provided no evidence of that. No, and the evidence points exactly the opposite. There's the odds of your benevolent human surviving versus the cockroach human surviving. I don't think you can draw this up on paper and explain how you're going to get over the avarice and violent problem. Your need and violence as a solution are not going to mix well in the future. The future is a hugely foreboding place to figure out how you're going to have freedom and technology and all this other stuff. So it's just a huge, giant, wishful thinking rainbow lie to be talking about this gold, this leprechaun gold, and that's all it is. It's leprechaun gold until you show us the path there with the human race that exists. Show me some diagram, some connect the dot blueprint, some vague drawing of how you're going to get to your future, how you're going to overcome nationalism, nepotism, racism, and just the basic selfish nature of the human organism. Show me.
So she ends the video with the idea, and it's a brilliant image, I think it's a good one, that life is like a hydra, that if you cut off one head, another grows in its place. And that is exactly what I was trying to say in the comments section. Life...
Yeah, well, you're just not taking the metaphor back far enough, so I guess that's the problem. Yeah, the metaphor only works going back to the nature of life, not talking about some, human aberration of the living thing. Life will find a way that's been demonstrated not to be true. So it's not even an accurate metaphor in the sense that obviously from chemistry the Hydra scenario is not inevitable, as demonstrated on planet Earth, as we do not have silicone-based reproducers. And we don't even have a tiny modification of the DNA molecule reproducers. We have the descendants of one Adam cell, and that's our one Eve cell, and that's all there is. In 4 billion years of a planet littered with parts, and yet only one has arisen.
Is like a hydra. So doesn't it make sense to unentangle the brutality, the cruelty, and the suffering from the life process as much?
Yeah, well, again, how are you going to do that? You're saying it's going to be easier, or it's more sensible to try to retrain lions not to eat gazelles, and they're going to retrain great white sharks to whatever, just go swim, happy, and eat what? What are they going to eat? Lollipops, right? We're going to feed them lollipops. You're not going to fix nature. You're just going to leave it the way it is. You're just going to leave the mammalian biosphere exactly the way it is. The harsh brutality, the insidious attrition will still exist. And you're just talking about human beings sitting in some library, you know, with their pinkies out, you know, smoking sugar cigarettes. No, non-sweetener, no, synthetic sweetener. Yeah, right, we can't eat real sugar.
As it's humanly possible. And to realize that we may become extinct as a species if we're not adaptive to our environment. We may also evolve into other forms. I mean,
other forms of what? Yeah, I mean, this is this dream of evolving into another form that does what? Doesn't watch baseball, doesn't need competition, doesn't need insatiable appetite to push itself through its existence, doesn't feed on the world. You're not going to evolve into something else. It's all cockroach all the way down. So don't pretend it's something else. It's all a feeding machine. And you want to pretend that you're going to evolve into something that doesn't do that? Then I think you're just totally delusionary. Sorry, this is fairy tale talk.
You can call them higher forms, or you can just call them different forms, but...
Yeah, well, different ain't going to do it, and if you're going to go higher, I'm just saying there is no higher game to play. You're just going to find four-dimensional porn. I mean, what do you think you're going to be after? Something different? We only have three components, right? Food, sex, and ego. And that's all there is. There's nothing else.
We will evolve.
Ego meaning competition, meaning I need to feel good about myself, and you're going to do that by making somebody else feel bad about themselves. And that's how the game's pretty much played.
As time passes, a different species. If you come back to Earth and there is still life here in another 3 billion years, and I'm not going to talk about the sun. I mean, I hear people in the comment section, people do things like, but the sun's going to burn out. Well, you know, if we can
again, you want to trivialize all that stuff, that's fine, but yeah, we are due for, there will be all likelihood, a huge impact with either the moon's going to get hit with something or we're going to get hit with something, and it's going to be rather catastrophic. So you can pretend that these real catastrophes aren't sitting out there waiting to fall on us. There will be another earthquake in the Mississippi Delta. It will happen someday. There's going to be, you know, Manhattan's going to fall in the ocean. So is California. These things are going to happen.
Grip on what we're doing, then, you know, we can get a grip on the fact that the universe is a vast place. So that isn't going to necessarily...
Yeah, so she's talking like somehow there's some place to go. But that just denies all the physics. Unfortunately, the physics does not allow the transfer of big forms of energy, right? You have to be reduced to a transporter beam. And it's still going to take you an awful long time to get anywhere. And there's going to be very little likelihood that your transporter beam is going to be in any kind of... that's going to hold all of its information when it gets to the destination. So, yeah, good luck with that. I don't think you have a chance. I don't think there's any way they're going to read your transporter beam signal on some other planet and reform you. I think you have absolutely no hope of that. And you certainly have no hope of taking any substantive part of your complexity, your arrangement, and migrating it through space to some other habitable location. That the physics just isn't going to let you do.
Anything.
And again, what would it have to do with me, and what would it have to do with any of my ambitions? Why would I give a crap if silly Sally and stupid Sam go to some other planet and repopulate it with jerky herky-perky? Why the fuck would I find that just totally cool? I'm not financing their trip, that's for sure. I'm an anti, whatever you call that, welfare, free rides to the universe, or, yeah, fuck that crap. Why, I mean, again, why would I have any what is your expectation? That I would find that somehow a comforting or like any kind of why would that mean something to me to send people I have contempt for into space?
But if we die out as a species, other species will take our place. Because as you pointed out, Amanda.
Well, whatever. So just keep playing the game like no one made the argument and blah, 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 blah. Other species will not take our place. They will not build Empire State Buildings or do any of that crap.